aggressive over everything? Why must I deal with defeat by judgment? Why can't I be how I choose to be? Am I not good enough for this world? Who am I supposed to be? Make it stop! Make it stop!
Gold Blaze Phoenix! You finally get the nerve to ask me out on an actual date. Then you make me wait hours at the cafe only for you to not show up? I'm going to kick your feather-covered...
Good morning, Key. What time is our date?
Good morning? Fox, it's like 9 in the evening.
What? Wow, the sky sure is dark.
Woof. For the love of pastel butts, Goldie. When was the last time you picked up around here?
Oh, the cleaning mare must be on her day off.
Babe, you don't have a cleaning mare.
Oh.
Golden, have you gotten any sleep the past few days?
Oh, yeah. Sleep means keeping your eyes open all the time, right?
Okay, Fox, you're going to go get some rest.
No! No. I still owe you that date. So how about I get you out of that dress, and we can...
Golden! Why don't you just want to sleep?
Because I can't. They'll start coming back.
They? Hun, are you having nightmares?
Well, they start as good dreams, or good memories, and then they just turn bad.
A dream turning bad, huh? I think I know what to do. Come on, Goldie. We're gonna do a little look if you and princesses dream of magic sheep. But, let's first get you acquainted with a toothbrush.
Key, I don't really think this is necessary. It's just some bad dreams.
Yeah, and these dreams have made you slow on your work, worry about everything, and turn your mind into a pile of mush.
I think that's exaggerating.
My point has been made. Now, you're gonna go to sleep, and with this thing, I can go in with you. And we can see what's been giving you all these spooky, scary nightmares.
Hey, how'd you get that from Silver?
Oh, I just asked nicely. With a baseball bat to his face. Now! Sleep.
No, I don't know. I haven't ever slept with a mirror in a bed before, and I tend to kick in my sleep, so maybe I should just sleep on the floor. It's much more comfortable, and I could give you more space given how much you have longer legs. It's not that bad.
Dream, sweet dreams for me. Dream, sweet dreams for you. See, Golden? Was it really that bad?
Better than a baseball bat. Now what are we gonna do?
Well, I feel like if we start reviewing the episode, your mind will start working faster, and it may stimulate what's been giving you all these bad dreams.
Episode?
Yeah, the Luna episode. Do princesses dream of magic sheep?
Oh yeah, this episode. Do princesses dream of magic sheep? Where do I even start? We first have an episode that brings back Luna on full blast of her character, providing several creative callbacks that take a good chunk of the episode, and a moral about how one should learn to forgive themselves. From the start, I loved this episode. Aside from the hype of Luna's return, this episode has so many things to take into consideration, with notable flaws the more I watch it. That's not to say I have a dislike for this episode, but the real challenge is the reception. This episode has a heavily divided state. Some people praise it for what it's provided, and others have called it a piece of cancer. As you can imagine, I'm already on the earlier half. But how well this episode holds up is something I have to be more open-minded to, and not let the hype cloud the facts.
Luna as a character has always intrigued me. For someone who gets so little screen time compared to her other royal peers, she has always seemed to enrapture the hearts of almost every pony, all the way back to her Season 1 appearance in the pilot. But why? Well, once you get down to it, she is an intermediate on the spectrum of characterization, between the totally unknown blank slate of a background pony to the fully established characters, like the ones of the main 6. We only know bits and pieces about her as a person, only knowing that she has a very tortured past filled with guilt, anger, and betrayal. We as fans started to eat that up, and wanted to fill in the blanks, making our own headcanons onto how Luna adapts to society, restructure her role in the diarchy of Equestria, as well as her own internal conflicts. The show has helped progress this canon-wise bit by bit, from her gaining a social awkwardness factor in Luna Eclipse, her dream-walking capabilities and hooves-on method of teaching shown in the CMC Luna trilogy, and now today with this episode, tackling a question that has only been lightly insinuated in the previous episodes. How does Luna feel and cope with her past as Nightmare Moon? I think this episode tackled the issue very well, but to show how it did it, we need to dig into this moon pie.
Sounds good right now.
Just start talking about the episode.
Oh, right. In this episode, Luna awakens by what's a good dream. However, she feels disturbed about it since she normally has nightmares, created by this blob called the Tantibus. Already from the start of the episode, we're given an epic sequence from Luna's dream as we discover something that wasn't explored upon in previous seasons. What's explained, though, is later open in this episode. Until then, it's worth mentioning that Luna's characterization being fleshed out more has always been exciting for me. As Key mentioned, Luna's character has been unknown, but with another reason. Back in Season 1, Lauren Faust originally had plans for Luna episodes, but Hasbro implied that she was once a bad guy and was labeled too scary for kids. So for spans of time, DHX had to work with what they got until they finally got to expose her character more. As for the Tantibus, I can appreciate a villain or a creature creating such devastating nightmares or lack thereof, and it's nice to see how it's made. Again, it's later explained in the episode.
After the intro, we see the main 6 giving their pets a spa day at the Carousel Boutique, all obviously haggard. They all find out simultaneously that they all had nightmares last night, with the presence of a certain bluish cloud of smoke. Luna arrives promptly to describe the Tantibus to the main 6, and here is where we get the two aspects about the episode that starts the divisiveness among the audience: the pacing and Spike. Let's talk about the pacing first. Even from the beginning, everything felt like a thrill ride, moving from moment to moment at a snap's pace. Now, this does give the plus that there is less filler, and it gets us right to the point of the episode. However, it does have the counter that it's, well, fast. Certain parts, especially in the third act, do feel like they go by too quickly, and sometimes it feels like the episode was put on 1.5 speed. I guess this all goes down to taste, as this is one of the fingerprints of Scott's work. In episodes like Tradia and his parts in the Cutie Map, it works, given how Tradia was a slice of life using the segmented Best Night Ever plot structure, and Cutie Map was a two-parter, so even with a faster pace, there's still ample time to get everything set up and explained. However, with an emotional adventure arc like the one shown here, it can, and possibly did, hamper a lot of the moments if the fast pace isn't your speed. No pun intended. And then there's Spike. I know a lot of people have different views on what makes his character and what makes his character bad. My pet peeve is when they make him uncharacteristically stupid and or ignorant, a la Spike at your service. Here, though, I think Scott got a good mix of the different writers' interpretations of Spike. We get a bit of the deadpan snarker from Amy's side, as well as the supportive side shown in McCarthy's writing, and even a touch of the sweet, childlike side from Season 4 Powell, all the while giving him his own twist. Yeah, he can be a bit of a flank hole, like any other kid, but he still at the end of the day cares about his friends and wants to be part of the solution, especially if it means dreaming big.
It is true that the episode moves at a light speed. There's nothing wrong with getting at one point to another, but if it moves too fast, you can either miss something in your work or not allow the audience to calm down a little. This was similar to Magical Mystery Cure. The only exception, though, is that this episode provides a lot more of a single plot than what looks like cramming 2 episodes as one. As for the other aspects, that is Spike, I should first be honest and say that I don't like it when Spike is coming off snarky and sarcastic. His likability dips down as if the writers want to find an excuse to pull out of their asses to torture him like they did in Season 4.
Golden, are you alright?
That was stupid. How did you come to that conclusion?
Golden! Are you okay?
Yeah, I think so.
The world started getting redder when you were getting mad. I think you were starting to stimulate whatever was changing your dreams, but it's not enough. Let's keep going with the review. Maybe the more we do, the more whatever this thing is will do.
Okay. Luna and the other main 6 gather together at Twilight's castle that night as a slumber party, with the main 6 rounded up in their sleep. Luna goes to infiltrate their dreams to take on the Tantibus, each of which resemble of what their motives are or what their hobbies are. Rarity's dream is a set of flying dresses, which makes sense to me, as some of them come to life by the Tantibus to torment her. Am I the only one who's thinking of a Fantasia skit with this one? The next is Pinkie Pie, who's able to jump the 4th wall. Nice, DHX. Applejack's dream is on apples and a nice callback to bats, as Twilight's love for books makes a nice callback to her character in her library from the previous seasons.
Now, what I find interesting about the dream sequences is not just the creativeness of the concept, being Luna's dream-walking spell, and the legitimately exciting action scenes, but also how the Tantibus creates the dreams into nightmares, given that the Tantibus is, at its root, a psychological manifestation. The Tantibus, and in turn the animators, use, except in AJ's dream, the psychological phenomenon of pareidolia, where the mind creates an illusion of a certain pattern, like for example, faces, in inanimate objects. It's like a more terrifying version of the Blue Umbrella, or a less scary version of Monster House. Hell, pareidolia is the whole reason why the concept of the Mare of the Moon design exists, given that it's based off the real pareidolia of the man, or rabbit, in the moon. It gives the designers a lot to work with, and overall gives us some nice imagery. Though, honestly, I prefer the unsettling psychological horror attempts of the cutie map compared to the visual attempts done here.
Key has a good point on the psychological aspect of what this episode provides, though if there's any complaint on one's individual dream, it is Rainbow Dash's. In her dream, she's fighting off changelings. To its credibility, it's a fun way of how you can dream of something even if it involves your inflated ego. But then Dash's nightmares appears.
We are such happy flowers, we will now sing for hours. Aren't we unbearably cute? Watch me solo on jazz flute.
Everything is all peaches and cream with living flowers. Now, I didn't have that much of a problem at first because of the subversion of what the other characters' nightmares were portrayed as, but then I started cringing at what's missing on Dash's character. Dash may be in for something more action-based and exciting, but isn't she friends with Fluttershy? The one who wouldn't mind such kindness around her? What's being presented here almost feels dismissive by overplaying Dash's tomboyish personality. It also doesn't help when her arc of joining the Wonderbolts was collapsing no thanks to Rainbow Fog. God, I can't take it here. I can't take it!
Golden, it's okay. I'm right here.
I'm sorry to have put you through this. God, it hurts.
It's okay, Golden. I'm willing to do anything for you. And it seems whatever it is doesn't particularly like that. We need to keep going, though, if we're going to get to the bottom of all this. So they all wake up, with Luna informing them that she couldn't defeat the Tantibus in their dreams. And Pinkie also informing she had a dream with all of Ponyville in it. I would question it if it weren't for the fact that we all dream of people we've seen before. And, well, it's Pinkie. She knows everyone from here to Canterlot High. This leads Luna to connecting everyone in Ponyville's dream together in one joint plane. And here we get how to do references in a normal episode 101. Seriously, I have no problems with the references in the dream sequence here. it didn't overtake the plot, and were used instead to move along the stories and actions, along with giving at least some of the townsfolk an actual hooves on roll, with callbacks up the wazoo to boost. Now, a lot of people would point out how strange it is that Rainbow and Applejack would dream up their power pony personas of all things to stop the Tantibus, along with the implementation of Night Spike and Flutterbat. But I personally think it's actually pretty smart. They remember these moments of power and use it to their advantage. Dreams are not always just random, strange occurrences. They can be flashbacks or memories of real life or past dreams. And then implementing those dreams into a lucid dream was just a nice touch. Also, Spike riding on top of a giant ditsy-do is just full of awesome sauce. I can't help but love it!
Not to mention dreaming the impossible as shown by Big Mac. There were hints in the series that Big Mac had a bit of one thing or two of something that was, well, not up to the standard of a stallion. And that I was okay with. For personal reasons, but that's beyond the point. In this episode, Big Mac has a unicorn horn and embraces it to the point of referencing Sailor Moon. I'll be honest and say that it was strange at first watching him doing that, but when narrowing everything down, Big Mac is often a sweet person, and the feminine attributes that he's been under is actually quite adorable. As Key said, it's also put to an advantage on what everyone must do by their desires, along with Filthy Rich and his power of bits, and Scootaloo growing massive wings to form giant gusts. However, it is of no use. The Tantipus grows bigger and stronger, attempting to literally cut its way to reality.
Am I crazy, or did it just get even bigger after Luna said that?
I think it's feeding off your guilt, Princess Luna! If that is so, then perhaps that is how it grew strong enough to escape in the first place!
Say what now?
I created the Tantibus to give myself the same nightmare every night. To punish myself for the evil I caused as Nightmare Moon.
But why would you do that?
To make sure I never forgave myself for how much Equestria suffered because of me. But it seems I have not learned my lesson. For now I have only made you suffer more.
This stems back to her characterization. For the longest time, Luna has created the Tantipus to create nightmares of her past actions and punish herself, never forgiving what she's done. Think of this over, it's very extreme even by cartoon standards, to put yourself under this line of thinking. However, this is something I find rather morally powerful in that regard. One of the major things to point out too is how a story or a conflict can impact someone. What they experience in a story is whether a movie or a book or an episode of the show is also something they can think about and take a lesson off of. Which is why I'm heavily fixated on morals, especially how much I ranted on what AJ said in Super Speedy. What this episode carries is actually something I've noticed personally in life. Throughout the entire runtime of the show, Luna has been regretful of her past actions, as well as fearing what everyone else thinks of her. However, she immediately accepted and forgave herself, thus holding back the Tantipus and moving back into Luna herself. While it's admittedly rushed, this is something I can take for granted because it shows how one person can learn to forgive themselves. Myself included, there have been a number of people who have been hard on themselves from what past actions they've had, and it's been difficult to move on. It isn't simple, but it's something worth thinking about and what you can do to better yourself. Her regret is relatable on such a high level that even with the small amount of screen time, I immediately connect with her as well as the majority of the fan base who admired Luna for who she is. She's a character who looks for redemption. However, with that said, this episode received a lot of hatred by some people, some of which have claimed her character was contradictory by her actions with the CMC, provided how calm and collective she's presented herself. Another is the moral itself. Some people have taken the context of the moral and blew it into such ridiculous hyperbole it actually hurts. I'll come out and say that I love the episode's moral because I can connect with having regretfully past actions, and it's true that you have to learn to forgive yourself. It's been a challenge for me as well as many others, even with some anxiety. But when something as important of a message gets blown out of context, that's where it draws the line and it personally pisses me off. I've been judged, I've been pushed around since childhood, and it doesn't help when morals that I have taken into account are ruined by someone else's judgment, that it forces me into a severe condition that I have to question the meaning of myself.
Why must I be aggressive over everything? Why must I deal with defeat by judgment? Why can't I be how I choose to be? Am I not good enough for this world? Who am I supposed to be? Why do I ask so many questions at once? Make it stop! Make it stop! sorry to put you through all of this, Keyframe. I'm sorry for everything.
These scenes were
pointless.
Golden! Golden! Goldie!
Get away! Get away! I'm not good enough.
You're not good enough.
They'll never forgive
They'll
me.
never forgive you.
Golden! I know what that thing is! It's... You can't forgive yourself. You don't think you're good enough. You're filled with this guilt and anxiety from everything you've gone through. Like Luna.
Then why can't I forgive myself and just be over it like her?
Because she didn't just get over it.
What?
I want you to look at this scene again, where the Tantabus shrinks in size. It doesn't just disappear, it goes inside of her. The Tantabus did not cease existing. It just became what it always was. A part of her. The Tantabus is like depression or anxiety. It can never be truly destroyed or cured. We have to carry our own Tantabus inside of us every day. But what Luna did here was not destroy it, but learn from it. She took the first step. She needed to forgive herself and accept that she is not the Luna she was over a millennia ago. She will not forget who she was, though, and there will probably be days where she will feel guilt for her past actions, just like we all do. But with the first step she took at the end, she can sleep peacefully, knowing that she did not let it overtake her. Become her! It's like what was said in Philly Vanilli. Baby steps. Yes, the presentation was rushed. Oh, so rushed. Coming from someone who continues to battle with depression, I could say that a topic like this cannot often be presented with the best of its abilities in a 22-minute time frame, but the detail they had at this moment shows that there's more thought than meets the eye. Golden, you can never make what you did in the past go away. But the fact you do regret your actions, the fact you try to get better, shows that you're not the person you were before. Ponies have told you that. I have told you that. We can see the change, and we've begun to forgive you. But you need to take the first step and start to forgive yourself. Do you get what I mean?
Yes. Yes, I do. But for once, I had a lesson given that I could take, and yet it was broken in so many ways. How do I know what other ponies think of me? What if I'm discarded for what lesson I took? I've been judged my whole life, and I couldn't fight it off.
I can't lie to you, Foxy. Some people will do what you fear they will do. Ponies will judge you, just like they judge me and everyone else. But we need that judgment. We need those second thoughts. What's the fun about having just one opinion rule them all? Fox, there are going to be people that agree with you, people that disagree, people who want to debate, and people who want to hate. But to live in fear of what could happen will just lead to, well, all this! Babe, there is a reason opinions are the antithesis of facts. Opinions are never completely wrong, nor are they completely right. They are just there to discuss and have. And my opinion, the viewer's opinion, and any pony else's opinions has just as much right to be expressed as yours. I know it's scary, dear, but hey, we're reviewers. It's what we do, right?
Yeah. I'm fine with people who agree or disagree. It's what makes everything worth talking about. But I've dealt with being harassed and taken down for when I was younger, and because I always feared that. After how I acted back in Season 4,
I somehow made the same mistake from them when I was a young Colt. It isn't easy for me to confront with it. Not alone.
Well, Foxy, you're not alone anymore. Heck, you've never been alone.
I never wanted to hurt you, and I'm glad that our disagreements came to a mature conclusion.
Success has been and continues to be defined as getting up one more time than you've been knocked down.
It's good to be helping.
I could use the help I need. Keyframe, I love you. Get the fuck back inside me.
I think it's time to wake up.
God, felt like I slept for a year.
Tell me about it. Overall, though, what did you think of the episode?
While it does have its faults, I loved it. It's fun, it's creative, it's imaginative, it has something for everyone, and it's open for such entertainment on behalf of slumber. And in a way, it makes sleeping exciting as well as knowing yourself a bit better.
I agree. This is probably tied with Sweetie Belle Toils as my favorite Luna episode. There were parts that make you laugh, parts that'll make you cry, and parts that'll make you think. I think Scott did a great job with characters he's never touched so heavily before, especially Luna. And while I feel like it could have been moved a bit slower, and some parts can seem too clean-cut for such a touchy topic, I think it was a wonderful episode to have as a mid-season finale. Well, Golden, I'm glad I can help you out, but I should probably return this dream thing back to Silver and,
You know, babe, I still owe you that date, don't I? I'll take that as a yes. This is Keyframe and GoldenFox. I'm going to look at point A, point B, and everything in between of the Princess's Dream of Magic Sheep.
Hey, that's my line.
Mm.